I don't have so much outrage, but just as you think about this election, and I want everybody to do that because I certainly have, just what a devastating thing Trump being elected would be. And it's a real possibility. And it's so, the implications of this would be so staggering to life in the United States that you couldn't believe it. And so whatever you're thinking inside, and I certainly had a lot of unpleasant thoughts about all of this, the stakes just could not be higher. They really, really couldn't. And it's, if you don't think that Biden's all that great, or you think he's too old, and there's some probably maybe justification for some of that. But just how catastrophic a Trump administration would be. And I just can't believe I live in a country where people increasingly think that January the 6th wasn't that big a deal. It's just almost impossible to think that. It just scares the shit out of me. You saw it right in front of our. I'll never forget the day. I mean, yes, they were beating the crap out of people. I mean, and if they would have got Mike Pence, they might have fucking hung him. That mob, I mean, that mob was literally crazy. And the guy that's really kind of got tangentially tied up in Judge Royce Lamberth court. He was a kind of, at the end of the day, he thought I was right and he left me alone. But he was a real Reagan, Texas, right-wing judge by any definition of it. And he's just freaking outraged at these criminals. And Royce Lamberth ain't no left-wing guy, I can tell you that. It's, again, Republican voters, if they said something else, they'd lose. It's just, I'm telling you, the problem is the people. It's just 40% of the people in this country are just stupid, bad people. I'm sorry. You can't look at that thing and say, oh, it was some people that had a protest. They just wanted to petition their government. Come on. The J6 choir. And they'll sing at Trump's inauguration. Well, first of all, there was a story, sure it was accurate, about they can't stand Iran. Putin is supplying Iran with all this technology and weaponry. So it's so massively, it's not inconsistent or hypocritical. It's something beyond that. And I'm just going to say right now what I really think. I think that there's a lot of Russian money in Republican politics in the United States. And how are they so pro-anti-Iran and pro-Russian when you look at the relationship between Russia and Iran? It defies all stupidity. In terms of Mike Johnson, no one has been as critical of Mike Johnson and his background as I have. I'd give him maybe not 3 cheers, but a little more than 1.5. And if he gets this Ukraine through, I'll give him 2 cheers. I mean, it's the best you can do under the circumstances. They got a 2-vote majority. The huge parts of their caucus is nutty in a fruitcake. And Johnson might be, I don't want to say it right now, one of these people that come along in American history that just punch above their weight. Now, he didn't have much weight to start with, but I'm in the process of reevaluating the speakership of one Mike Johnson, and let's see if he gets this through. But he might be better than we thought. That's what I'll leave it at that. If you go back to the drone attack on Israel, there are considerably people pretty smart that think this was a kind of a rigged deal, that the Iranians told the Israelis in the U.S. what they were going to do, when they were going to do it. Biden rushes back to Washington, with the implication being he kind of knew the time they were coming. I don't know. I'm spreading salacious gossip, but I got to tell you, there's a lot of high-end gossip that says that this was a kind of Iran had to do something. They didn't want to start a war, so they warned everybody what they were getting ready to do. I have no hardcore proof that's true, but it doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility. I saw one of the generals was on there, and these drones fly at the speed of a Piper Cub. I think you could take one of these things out with an assault weapon, maybe, but I don't know that. But it was good. I mean, nothing got through. It was effective, but I just repeat the rumor. And that's all I know. It's a rumor. But it sure did seem like it was. I wish somebody would ask one of these right wingers, what do they think about Russian involvement helping Iran? I think that's an underreported story. If you ask the question, was Israel better off on October the 6th of 2023 than it is today? The answer is demonstratively yes. And no one can underestimate the depth of the Israeli negligence in the events of October 7th. A lot of this was brought upon as a result of Benjamin Netanyahu's gross, I would say, some things should be so negligent they're criminal. I think Netanyahu, what Israeli law is, but if they have a statute on criminal negligence, they ought to bring charges against him. He was that negligent.